Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel No Filter Global. Every year, all around the world, billions of people celebrate Christmas on December 25th. We see the lights, we hear the songs, and we set up nativity scenes depicting the birth of Jesus in Bethlehem. For centuries, December 25th has been marked on our calendars as the birthday of Jesus. It seems like a solid fact, doesn't it? But what if I told you that history and even the Bible suggest something very different? Today, we are going to put on our detective hats. We are going to look at clues from ancient times, weather patterns, and old Roman traditions to answer a massive question. Was Jesus actually born on December 25th, or is this date perhaps history's biggest birthday mix-up? Let's find out. The first place we need to look for evidence is the Bible itself. The New Testament contains 4 books called the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, which tell the story of Jesus' life. 2 of them, Matthew and Luke, give us details about his birth. They mention Bethlehem, his mother Mary, the manger, and the shepherds. But there is one very important detail missing in all of them: a date. Neither Matthew nor Luke mentions a month or a day. In fact, for the first few hundred years after Jesus lived, early Christians didn't really celebrate his birthday at all. They were much more focused on the end of his life, his death and resurrection at Easter. So, the primary source documents don't give us a calendar date to work with. Since the Bible doesn't give us a date, we have to look for clues within the story. The biggest clue comes from the Gospel of Luke. It says that on the night Jesus was born, there were shepherds out in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. This sounds like a lovely Christmas card scene, but it actually creates a problem for the December 25th theory. We need to look at the geography and weather of Bethlehem. Bethlehem is in a hilly area based in the Middle East. Many people assume it's always hot there, but that's not true. In Judea, where Bethlehem is located, December is the middle of winter. It is the rainy season, and it gets very cold at night. Sometimes it even snows. Because of this bad weather, shepherds would not keep their sheep out in the open fields at night during December. They would bring the animals indoors or into caves to protect them from the cold rain. The fact that the shepherds were sleeping outside with their flocks suggests that Jesus was born during a warmer time of year. Most historians agree this points away from winter and towards seasons like spring, summer, or early autumn. There is another historical clue that makes a December birth unlikely. The Bible tells us that Mary and Joseph traveled from Nazareth to Bethlehem because the Roman Emperor, Caesar Augustus, ordered a census. Everyone had to go back to their hometown to be counted for taxes. Travel back in those days was very difficult. It was slow, walking or riding donkeys over rough roads. It is highly unlikely that a Roman emperor would order a massive migration of people during the dead of winter. Travel would have been dangerous and the roads muddy and difficult. A census was usually planned for a time when travel was easiest, like the spring or after the autumn harvest, not during the cold, rainy winter months. If the Bible doesn't say it, and the historical clues point away from it, how did we end up with December 25th? The answer lies not in Jerusalem, but in Rome. Before the Roman Empire became Christian, they had their own big festivals during December. The middle of winter was a dark and cold time, so ancient people held huge parties to celebrate the promise of light returning. The biggest Roman festival was called Saturnalia, held in mid-December. It was a week of feasting, gift-giving, and parties. Even more importantly, in the later Roman Empire, a very popular holiday fell right on December 25th. It was called Dies Natalis Solis Invicti, which translates to the birthday of the unconquered sun. It celebrated the winter solstice, the point where the days start getting longer again. The sun god was a major figure for the Romans. In the 4th century, about 300 years after Jesus, Christianity became the official religion of the Roman Empire. Church leaders had a challenge. how to get Romans used to the new religion. The early church leaders realized it was easier to take existing popular holidays and give them new Christian meanings, rather than trying to ban the old parties entirely. Since everyone was already celebrating the birth of the Son and giving gifts in late December anyway, it made strategic sense to say, let's celebrate the birth of the Son of God at the same time. It was a way to merge the traditions. It wasn't until around the year 336 AD, in a Roman calendar, that we see the first clear record of Jesus' birth being celebrated on December 25th. It took a few more centuries for this date to become accepted by Christians all over the world. If it wasn't December, when was it? The honest truth is, nobody knows for sure. Different historians and astronomers have tried to calculate it. Some suggest spring, perhaps around March or April, because that is when baby lambs are born, which would explain why shepherds were out all night watching their flocks. Others suggest autumn, perhaps September, during Jewish festivals like the Feast of Tabernacles, which was a time of pilgrimage when Bethlehem would have been crowded. But without a clear record, these are just educated guesses. The actual date is lost to history. So, to answer our main question, no, Jesus was almost certainly not born on December 25th. The date was likely chosen centuries later to line up with existing winter festivals. But does knowing this ruin Christmas? I don't think so. For billions of Christians, December 25th isn't about historical accuracy on a calendar. It is about the meaning of the event they are celebrating. Whether it happened in April, September, or December, the tradition has chosen this day to mark that moment. Thanks for joining me on this historical dive into Christmas past. What do you think about this? Does knowing the history change how you view the holiday season? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more investigations into history and mystery. Have a wonderful holiday season, and I will see you next time.